Today, a new crypto trading service comes to Europe. South Africa is cracking down on digital assets, and Sridhar Ramaswamy of nxyz talks privacy on the web. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Digital assets trading mixed today. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin remained above the $19,000 level. Ether traded at $1,300, and Polygon was in the red, trading at 84 cents. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. First, a new crypto trading service is coming to Europe. N26 announced yesterday it's launching N26 Crypto, starting with Austria as the first market for the product. N26 Crypto will let users buy and sell 100 tokens, including Bitcoin and Ether, and the company plans to roll out the feature to users in other markets over the next 6 months. Eventually, N26 plans to expand its token offering to include a total of 194 coins. The company's chief product officer tells CNBC that N26 users are extremely interested in crypto, and that interest remains very high even in a bear market. Next, another crypto exchange is restricting Russian accounts. Cointelegraph, which cited an email sent to the crypto exchange's Russian clients yesterday, reported that Russian users would be able to withdraw their funds by request. The move was in compliance with sanctions from the European Union. Shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, Kraken's former CEO, Jesse Powell, tweeted the company wouldn't restrict Russian accounts unless legally required. In a statement sent to us, the company said, quote, "Kraken complies with the legal and regulatory requirements in all jurisdictions that we operate in. Since the EU's announcement, we've been working to make the changes needed to comply with the latest package of sanctions against Russia." Finally, South Africa is cracking down on crypto with brand new regulations. Bloomberg reported that crypto assets will be treated as financial products. Exchanges operating in the country will also need to obtain a license from South Africa's Financial Sector Conduct Authority, or FSCA. The change comes amid a record number of funds stolen in hacks this month, and many of those attacks originated in South Africa. The new rules take effect on June 1st of 2023. All right, on to our main story. We've been talking a lot about Web3 on this show and its goal of giving back control of your identity and data. But what needs to happen to make that possible? To find out, Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke to Sridhar Ramaswamy, a former Google exec who started a new Web3 company.
So you just launched this new startup called nxyz, which aims to make searching the blockchain faster and easier. Can you talk about this new venture? It has backing from top VCs. What prompted this to come about? What influenced it? And how will it work?
I have worked on a search engine called Neva for the past 3.5 years. And early this year, as just a skunkworks project, a few of us looked at what it would take to create a blockchain search engine. And out of that, we realized that there was a real need for a company to make data from the blockchain much more accessible to developers. On the blockchains are amazing because they are decentralized computation. Like it runs on a system that no one owns. That's the power of the blockchain. That means that bringing data back to your application, the thing that you want your users to see, whether it's an NFT marketplace or a wallet, getting the data can be pretty hard. We realized that that was the spot that nxyz could fill. And so we spun that off as a separate enterprise and have amazing folks like Matt from Paradigm back us. But nxyz is fundamentally in the blockchain data infrastructure space, making it much easier for developers and analysts to get at data that's on-chain in like a fast, performant way.
And obviously you have a lot of experience in tech. You worked for Google for about 15 years. You ran their ad business. And now here you are with these new ventures. You mentioned Neva and nxyz. Can you talk about how that experience at Google influenced these new projects of yours?
I worked on search for a very long time at Google. Neva is really a desire to create a user-focused, back to basics kind of search engine. We also ran some of the largest data infrastructure teams in the world. I mean, if you think of how the ad system at Google works, there are billions of queries every day, hundreds of millions of clicks, and there's a system that in real time is tabulating all of these so that we can show this data in our advertiser front ends. We can use this data for machine learning to figure out what ads to show. In many ways, nxyz resembles the back half of the infrastructure that used to be in ads, except that the ads teams ran at like 1,000 times the scale of most blockchain systems that there are. So it's a problem area that we are intimately familiar with. That's why we feel confident in our ability to create like low latency, real time APIs and analytic systems that developers can use to gain much more insight into what's going on the blockchain.
Well, you often preach the importance of privacy. How will you ensure privacy in Web3, especially when Web2 has so much criticism as it pertains to privacy?
Yeah, NXYZ does not directly address this topic, but I completely agree with you that privacy is a big issue. Everything on the blockchain is open and is visible for others to see. That's obviously not great, but there are increasingly both chains and systems that will be able to provide much better privacy. There's a lot of really cool work outside of NXYZ that is going on in the area of zero knowledge proofs. And so, those are the things that will ensure that blockchain protect people's privacy while keeping the benefits of being the system that is decentralized, that no one governs, that no one can censor. They have great qualities, but I agree with you that making sure that users feel safe and don't feel like their data is being hijacked is an important lesson that the Web3 community as a whole needs to take to heart.
Who would you hold accountable for the security issues and the privacy issues that live on the web?
I think this is, this is us collectively. We collectively decided on the ads model, and we all knew that ads involved a certain amount of tracking. We just didn't realize how pervasive it was going to become. And I would also say that the last 20 years has seen like basically the government not taking much by way of antitrust action. And so you have a few players that have created like this enormously large advertising and data collection networks. And so I think like something that's been created over 20 years is not going to be easy to untangle overnight. So it needs to be a combination of legislation and regulation. You already see California taking the lead with things like CCPA, the privacy regulation. I think people are waking up to the fact that sort of this lack of privacy is not a great thing. But we also need to vote with our feet. Neva is a wonderful search engine. It like does not do any tracking. It's completely private. And the more people realize that this stuff matters, that it's not okay for everything that we do to be subject to intrusive advertising, I think the better off that we will be. But overall, it's no one single entity. We are in this together, and we have to get out of this together with help from government and regulators. And places like Europe and California, honestly, are doing way more for these areas than, say, the federal government.
All right, so obviously this is crypto world. So let's talk about crypto a little bit. Obviously, you're very immersed in the tech space. Can I ask you, what do you foresee for the crypto industry, especially as we're in this so-called crypto winter, which depressed prices and cost jobs?
Crypto's gone through many cycles, and every single time it has come out stronger. I'll talk more generally about, what I call the blockchain or the Web3 space. Crypto is one part of it, decentralized finance. To me, blockchains and Web3 represent a fundamental innovation, similar to the innovation of the internet. If you think about it, the internet happened because there were these protocols, basically communication protocols that are called things like HTTP, that nobody owned. Anyone, any company, anywhere could implement this protocol and be able to connect to the internet, be able to have users consume that data. So it was a foundational innovation. While there have been interesting things like decentralized finance protocols, I think the more Web3 developers can create applications that matter to people. So, for example, even if we were to solve the remittance problem, there are lots of people, there are lots of immigrants in the United States, for example, and they often want to send money back to their home countries, and it's really hard. It's very expensive. If Web3 can solve that problem, in my mind, that's a big step forward. I think that is how we will get out of the crypto winter, by actually creating value. A lot of smart people are coming into Web3 because they realize it's early. There are big opportunities here in terms of what kind of applications can be created. These are the people that are going to get us out of the winter.
Do you have any other projects in the works? Anything else as it pertains to Web3?
So there's a lot. Starting from data infrastructure, you can just create a lot of things. The first thing is, of course, making the data available. We are also working with partner companies so that they can build other analytic applications on top. We work with one company that's looking at like what are like fraudulent NFTs, or can they do NFT price prediction, or can you make sure that you protect people from malicious wallets? You talked about security problems in Web3. So these are, we don't do these ourselves. We collaborate and partner with other companies and supply them with data and infrastructure for being able to do these things. I think there's a lot of interesting things that are being created as we speak.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, so we'll see you then.